Hello and welcome to the Yin-Yang Festival. Our first gallery read of today is this wonderful man here. Would you like to introduce yourself?
For those of you who don't know me, which most of you do, I'm James O. Joseph Jr. I'm the unintentional psychic, and I'm located up in the Queensbury area of New York. I am the owner and caretaker of the Phoenix Rising Energy Center and psychic medium.
And it is a pleasure to make your acquaintance. Have fun. I'll be back there. Enjoy.
Thanks. And now, most of you know that I'm a wanderer. I like to walk, but I have to stay back here for the camera, which is not normally my gig. Usually I'm like wandering around with everybody. So I like yes, no's, or maybes, and it'll be primarily mediumship, but unlike most gallery readings, I will dibble into psychic energy too. So I could, touch on one person's loved one and then touch on somebody else's whatever issues or whatever is going on. So it's a small group, so let's see who's getting in line to see talk. So for me, most of you know this, my primaries are psychic knowing, psychic feeling, psychic seeing, and then for mediumship I have like this room in my mind's eye, and if I focus on it, then there's people and animals there waiting for me to notice them. So that's usually how it works for me. I don't know how it works for everybody else, but that's so far what I've figured out. I really want to focus mainly on mediumship kind of scenarios. So it doesn't matter. I'm fine.
Okay, no, that's fine.
Once you've done readings in a concrete garage behind this building.
That's so true.
I was doing all those summer readings with Jem in 21, and they were all in the concrete garage.
That's true.
So
that's true.
You do that, you can do it anywhere.
Yep.
Kind of thing. Is it okay if I come to you?
Yeah.
So I have a husband energy, and I'm not saying necessarily like somebody you were actually married to, but somebody who in a lot of ways considered themselves that kind of energy. Does that make sense to you? Yeah? Not a big talker, and whenever he does talk, it was with just the touch of grumpiness. Does that make sense to you?
Sounds like my ex-husband.
Okay. Is he passed over?
Yeah.
Okay.
Sounds like a typewriter.
I instantly feel like he wasn't the type of guy that would really be health conscious or concerned about health, and I get this element of smoking also. Does that make sense to you?
Yeah, but in the end he was very healthy, so I don't know, maybe it's not him, maybe it's someone else. There are a lot of people who like to boss me around.
Let me feel into it, because it could also be an overlapping of two energies. So I just want to make sure.
I have a nosy brother too, who's passed over.
No, this is a husband-like energy.
Yep.
And I want to feel like that's your ex-husband. Because, oh, by the way, I stare up. I apologize for anybody that, it's better than me going like this.
Yeah, that's kind of too.
and not really,
I feel
being
kind
there.
of
No. So it's interesting. I have this guy who's like, wasn't really concerned about his health most of the time. Smoker.
He always smoked and drank. He did
Yeah, all of that stuff. And but the love was real. The love was real. You just got tired of the crap. And he's really, really, really sorry. It's like he knows, and he's never said this to you before, but he knows he was the one that screwed everything up. Does that make sense to you? Yes.
Well,
no?
yeah, I don't know if it was all his fault, but yeah.
Well, from his viewpoint,
Cold and distant.
he did not give you a fair shake, is what I keep
We
hearing
didn't give
from
each other a fair shake.
Yeah.
We just fell into our roles mostly.
Yeah, so it's a really interesting energy because there's a lot of sadness or sorrow for letting the possibilities slip through his fingers.
Mm-hmm.
Because you really were willing to do the work at the time, and he really wasn't. He just had a distance that you couldn't get through. He had like this thick shield that he used with everybody. Does that make sense? If not, let me know, because I want to make sure I'm reading the energy correctly.
Well, I'm not sure it was all his fault, though. I think both of us, neither one of us really, I don't know. He wasn't exactly a
He was not warm and fuzzy.
Never,
by
not
any
warm and
means.
fuzzy. He was definitely not that. He's probably regretting that.
No, he's like, I'm a man's man. It's man's man.
Yeah.
That role model kind of, everybody was supposed to be so tough.
Yeah.
Men don't cry.
Yeah, no.
That kind of stuff.
Yeah, that's
and it really was his Achilles heel.
No.
It's like he was always trying to fit this stereotype that really didn't work for him. It really wasn't truly who he was. But he played a good game.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and I think the message really is just the sadness and the sorrow that.
I think for our kids too, because I think for my son, he wishes he would have been there for him more.
Yeah,
I think
because
he
there's
felt
a
that way toward the
disconnect,
end of his life.
and your son has such a negative feel about marriage and father figures and
everything.
family. All of it is, and it's really been this ripple effect for him from
because he's very emotional, but he's afraid to get into his emotions too.
yeah, artist. Your
Your
son's artist through and through.
He's busy being the tough guy.
Yeah, it's not doing him any good either.
I know.
It's interesting. It's almost like a family.
Treat
Yeah, not a trait, a family curse of sorts that sort of happened with
his
your
dad.
ex-husband's father, then your ex-husband, and now your son, and it's trickling down. It's the same lesson, and none of them are really
I see
grasping
it happening to my grandson. I try to not, but I see it.
Yeah, so I think it's this ancestral male lesson that everybody's.
Thank you for verifying, validating that.
Yeah, and your son can take care of it, but he's got to see
Let
it for
his
what
pride
it is.
go down a little
Why
bit.
why is he all about the rose tinted glasses? Everything's through rose tinted glasses. He doesn't really see.
He doesn't see himself. It's probably too painful to admit.
Yeah, it's everybody else.
Yeah.
And it's not.
No.
He's just got some rough role modeling lessons that aren't really working for him.
Yeah, and he can't be true to himself.
No.
It's okay. It's okay to say you're scared. You're
He's
tired.
hiding a whole part of who he is.
I know. I've known him since he was a little boy.
I get this really intense, I'd hope so. I get this really intense true poet artist soul. And for some reason, it's this element of not giving himself permission
No.
to express
He's too
all
tough.
the different colors of who he is.
David. He's too tough.
Yeah. So it's just interesting. I think that's where a lot of the sorrow from your ex-husband's coming through, because especially now that he's over on the other side without the blinders that we have here in this world, he's seen the ripple effects that he's caused. So, but everything's life lessons, everything's
Yep.
agreed upon
You can fix it if
before.
you want to.
Yeah. So, but lots of love. It's interesting. I feel like he feels like you stayed longer than you should have, kind of scenario. Like, I keep getting these elements and energies of, you're sort of looking for drips of hope at the end, and then at some point you're just like, there's nothing to work with.
Oh yeah, I
anymore.
gave up on that all the time. But yeah, probably. But it makes it sound like I was really desperate to hold on
No,
to
no,
him. I
no,
was for a
not
little
at
while.
all.
But sometimes you just have to. I was happier without him. He
And-
said to me, "You don't really want me back. You're just jealous because he found
And it's
someone
the
else."
belief
He's right.
structures that your family taught you that you get into a marriage and then you stick into the marriage.
I did feel
Divorce.
that way for a long time too.
Yeah, like divorce wasn't a thing. You just didn't do it. So yeah, just lots of love for you, especially now that he's over there, because I
Jack's a
feel.
lot nicer to me now, right?
Well, I feel like there was a couple good throwdowns the two of you had.
Well, we have had a few.
Yeah, and so yeah, it was rough before he passed. There was really not a lot of communication and still friction. A lot of
Yeah,
friction.
we could make
still.
each other mad with him.
Yeah.
We could get along great as long as we were real careful about
You
it.
guys were really good at pushing each other's buttons all the time. And there was very few people that push your buttons and very few people that could push his, but you both had this really intense magic to know exactly
Yeah.
where to push,
Sure.
kind of thing. So please take that, and I hope that
Thank
resonates
you.
and makes some kind of message for you.
Totally not expecting that. Wasn't expecting him to be here.
Yeah. Well, it's funny. Yeah, you would not have expected. You're not like your grandmother or your mother
Yeah, I
to
haven't
come
been
through.
expecting to hear from him at all.
Yeah, well, that's usually how it works for me. It's never the one you expect or the message that you expect. So just take that, and hopefully it gives you some kind of closure or healing of some sort. So, Britt, did your grandfather and your mom's side pass? Did your mom's dad passed over?
No, not yet.
So what's the disconnect or the? So okay, one of the other magical things that happened for me when I get people in the room but they're not passed over, like they're still here, and I know it's your mom's dad. I don't know why. That usually tells me that there is friction or a need to rebuild the bridge, or Spirit's giving you an opportunity to maybe do a healing experience for yourself. Does that make sense to you? With you and your grandfather on your mom's side, is there this I feel like there's distance. I feel like there's
lived in another state, so
Yeah.
it's always been kind of that disconnect.
And is he having health issues? Is he having issues with smoking, lungs?
He's on oxygen, so he doesn't smoke anymore.
So I'm just going to suggest that if you haven't talked to him in a while, just reach out to him, say hi, see how things are going for him. It's interesting. I feel like he feels very alone, but I also feel like his health is really not good. More so than it's been the last 2 years. So I'm just giving you the opportunity.
I think my mom hasn't been talking to them because I know they did have like something like
So are you sort of in that too, where you're sort of like?
I usually keep myself out of it, so.
Yeah, I would love, and I'm only saying this because we've known each other for a couple years. We've never talked about any of your family before, but for him to come through like that for me, it's Spirit's giving an opportunity for you to do a healing for yourself in some way if there's unfinished business, or to give you an opportunity to give loving support, but also to focus on this. And maybe it's somebody you hadn't thought about reaching out to, and maybe you're not going to have a lot more time to do that.
Okay.
If that does that make sense? Because I'm so beating around the bush right now,
Yeah.
kind of thing. Trying to say everything except the one thing that keeps popping into my head. So his breathing is really bad. His chest is really bad. And it's crazy. He would still, if he could get away with it, smoke a pack a day.
My grandma still smokes, I think, in the house.
Oh,
so
no.
it's like,
Yeah, and it's terrible because really, for him, it's like, why are you eating candy in front of me?
Yeah.
That's really the whole scenario for him.
That's how he feels.
So yeah, just take that for what it is. You've known me well enough to know that I don't just say nothing kind of scenario, kind of thing. I'm used to pacing. I'm used to walking around with you guys. Well,
a little bit.
Back and forth, even horizontally. You'll be
Awesome. So Emily, hi. So I'm gonna hit back on something that we touched on before. So just so everybody knows, this isn't just coming out of my head. So has anything progressed with is it your uncle's grandfather's about the business? Why do I still feel like there's this push for you to push more into the family business? And you weren't super happy about it when I talked to you about it last time.
No, not so much with the business side of it. I did like reconnect emotionally with my grandfather recently.
Okay.
After a while, I saw him in a new light.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
They just keep showing me you doing the office management. Like all the paperwork, all the calls, all the office.
Maybe someday I'll.
Are you still fighting it?
I
Yes.
just don't see it. I don't see it being. I've had a feeling that it might be, but didn't see it for myself, I guess. Like
Okay.
in that area.
Where's the resistance on that?
I just feel like there's more for me than being there.
There is, but this might be a small step on the path. And I don't know, you know better than I do. I mean, I'm just babbling crap out of my mouth, so I could be totally wrong. But as soon as I lean into your energy, it takes me right back to the family business and you really taking control of the inner workings of it. And I know you don't want to do that, but they're ready to start handing it off to somebody else. You keep wanting to create something from scratch that's yours. They keep wanting to hand off something that's already done to somebody they know can handle it, manage it, make it better, and you're fighting it the whole way.
Yeah, I do see that. That's definitely thoughts that have been in my mind. But they think that.
And it's just, I know you're all about creating these great things and leaving your legacy from scratch, but there's a lot to be said with taking on something that the generation before you created and taking it to a level they couldn't have done on their own. There's a lot of pride in that too. So, and a lot of good women.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, they're definitely have a solid footing.
yeah. So ponder on that. I know you, and I know that you're stubborn, and you have, you believe things are the way they're supposed. You have a very solid belief structure on how things are supposed to lay out. But I know this. I don't remember the last time I talked to you about stuff like this, but I know there's tidbits that we've talked about before. Because I don't remember most of the things that I do in readings. Like afterwards, I'd be like, I could see you in the street and not know who you are in this scenario. Usually, unless we've done other events and stuff together. So just take that, sit on it. You are very much the type of person that has to chew on a piece of meat for a long, long time before you really go anywhere with it. So, kind of thing. So, I'm going to step behind Kim. Yeah, don't duck down. She ducks right down. Did you see that? So, I instantly am leaning into a man's energy that feels like your mother's father. It's funny, a lot of male energy, father energy kind of stuff. Does that make sense for you? Your mom's dad has passed over?
Yes.
And why do I instantly see, like, was he, even though he was your mom's mom, did he treat you like one of his own? So this is the energy that I'm getting.
Yes.
Like holding your hand, walking you, being there on a day-to-day basis, really being the support system you needed from a male energy. Does that make sense to you?
Yeah, not day to day, but
He felt like it was a lot more than what a normal grandparent would do.
yeah.
And it very much feels like, literally, he just keeps showing me like him holding your hand when you're really little, like 4, 5, 6 years old, and just like walking on a path or on the side of the road or something like that. So does that resonate for you?
Yes,
Was that the kind
very
of scenario
much so,
that you?
yeah.
Okay. And how's the dog relate? Because I also have this dog that's like walking around him and walking around the two of you.
Yeah, he had like 3 dogs. Yeah, that dog.
The female dog, the brown female dog. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Yeah. Like he liked all of them, but she was his favorite. And those are the moments he just loved. He just loved those everyday average moments where it was just you and him walking or playing or interacting. He really saw the value in your youth because he was at a point in his life where, he obviously was much older and he just was realizing that the hourglass had trickled away quite a bit. It's interesting. I feel like he made a lot of effort to remove or change schedules a lot of times to spend more time with you. Does that make sense for you?
Yes.
He was there for your mom a lot to just really help with the everyday things. And some of it you saw and some of it was behind the scenes. Does that all make sense?
Yes, very much so.
Okay. Yeah. So this love is just still resonating intensely for me. It's still there just as strong, if not stronger, than when he was on this side.
I always used his strength and I could use it to help.
Well, then that's probably why he's coming through. Because I'm going to touch on that, but why is he showing me him just pushing you on a swing set? Did you guys do a lot of that kind of stuff where you just went to the local?
Well, he had swings in the backyard.
Okay.
That he
It's just,
built for us.
oh, bigger ones. They weren't like the little cruddy ones. It was like more of an industrial, like it's not just going to fall down. You're going to have to demo it kind of scenario. And it just these really special, simple moments were really important to have. Kind of thing. But I did want to say, when you were talking about his support, he's there. He's just resonating over you. It's interesting. He's showing me in my mind's eye how he just sort of puts his over you to sort of like shield you from the hardness of life. So I don't know if you've been feeling that recently, but it just is this feeling of trying to do everything he can on that side to like weave the energies to a better situation for you. And the finances are going to get better. I don't know what that means. So does that make sense to you? Because for some reason finances are a really big deal, and he's like, money's on its way. So I don't know what that means. Hopefully that means something really important to you. I mean, usually money's a big deal. So
It's already happened, so.
oh, good. Well, then I feel like there's still more. You're only don't say that that's the whole pot, because it's not. It's just the beginning of the trickle of the stream. So believe that there is a lot more coming, because there is. Because you have a tendency to believe something and then it just like cuts off the energy. It like you're like, well, that's enough. Okay.
Yeah.
I got this. So it's no. You're always shortchanging yourself and limiting the abundance of source. So just keep going like this, because that's what he's doing. It's funny. He's like this. I don't know. The money. Like he's making it rain money, and you're like, oh no, I've got enough. And he's like, what are you talking about? You can never have enough. So does that all make sense? Because I feel like money changes. Money was a really big deal.
Yeah, you always gave us 50 cents every week when we didn't count.
Yeah, and it was a big deal at that time. Now it's like $50.
Yeah.
50 cents used to be a big deal, and now it's, quit giving the kids allowance when it was like $15 a week.
Yeah.
So I hope that resonates for you. I think it's somebody you really would have loved to, unlike you, you're like ex-husband, and you're all about, oh yeah, I would love to hear from him. So glasses, did he have glasses? And salt and pepper hair, and it was never like really well brushed or combed. It was always a little bit like he was just in a windstorm of sorts.
You did the finger comb.
Yes, all the time. But really tender heart. Like he always thought about everything he said before he said it, and the impact that it would have on people. He was a very super thoughtful guy. A lot of times, especially with men, we just battle things out because most of us are a little bit clueless. But he wasn't like that. He was very much like, sort of saw how the ripples worked. So he was very conscious of all that stuff. You have 2 siblings? Are you one
three.
So you have 2 siblings?
3. There's 4 of us.
Oh, there's 4 of you. Okay.
So 3 siblings. 1 I don't see.
Okay. I don't know. They're talking about your 2 siblings. I don't know. Is one like much younger?
Yes.
Yeah.
Like 17 years.
Yeah. Like a whole nother litter kind of scenario.
Yeah.
I hate to say it that way, but it's very that kind of scenario. So the connection is just really the 3 of you, and what's the talk, what's the whisper, what's the conversation about the power of the 3 of you together? Because this is so witchy, but all I keep hearing is the power of 3, the power of 3, the power of 3. So for me, that takes me right to the craft of the series. But that's funny, because that's simple, because your 4th one was so much younger. It's almost like when, I'm sorry, I'm talking about the craft, but when they had the 3 main characters and then the 4th one sort of swooped in at the last season or 2. But something magical about the 3 of you together, the ability or the energy that, at least in his viewpoint, were the 3 of you pretty close together in age?
Well, closer.
Yeah.
But now we're closer.
Well, anything's got to be closer than 17 years from the last one. But so it's really interesting that he's talking about the 3 of you and it's wild. He's talking about this unrealized magic that the 3 of you have when you're together. And I've never said that once in my whole life before. So that's really intense. There's like this synergy or this special type of energy magic that the 3 of you have that you haven't even consciously clicked on yet. And I don't know if it's literally energy between the 3 of you, or if when the 3 of you are together, you make things happen that wouldn't happen by yourselves. The word synergy is super important for me. I don't know why. It's when everybody works for a common goal. So I don't know if the three of you are sort of like focused on something common right now or starting to.
We just did. My mother passed, so the three of us worked together.
So it's really the magic of family, the definition of family. So which one of you three is stepping up as the leader now, the family hierarchy?
Well, we try to do it together.
Somebody's gonna have to take the lead.
Well, my older sister.
Okay, because
Us.
it's funny. Somebody needs to take the lead because when you all try to do it, like it's almost like a clown car. So I don't know what that means exactly, but it's like horns and buzzards, and everybody's like, there's a lot of chaos. So there needs to be that one person that just is a step ahead of everybody else, just so the flock of you all know what direction to go in. So does that all make sense?
Yes. I have 3 children.
Oh, you have 3 children also.
Yeah.
And the sister you were just talking about also has 3, doesn't she?
No, 2. She only has 2. She's hiding one.
Did she have a miscarriage?
I don't know.
Okay. 3 seems to be a really prominent number for me today so far, so I don't know what that's about.
I'll figure it out.
Yeah. So please take that. Your mom has not come through yet, which is interesting. You said that your mom has passed just recently, and that's who you really wanted to talk to. If she comes through, I'll let you know.
She doesn't really want to talk to her.
Oh.
It's not that.
I'm just kidding.
I've literally heard that before. It's like, I don't want to talk to that
She
person.
had a wonderful passing. I was with her. My daughter. It was just.
Oh, that would make sense. So everything that needed to be said was said.
Yes.
Yeah, I do find when I do mediumship that it's usually people who've passed over that feel like there's unfinished business or there's something to be shared. So yes, a lot of times people will sit with me and they'll want to listen to somebody very particular, but like they were there at the deathbed, they were holding their hands, they were crying at the end. I'm like, there's nothing. I mean, yeah, they love you and they're around all the time, but they don't have like the gold is in the car, or anything like that. In the trunk, kind of scenario.
Sorry, no, messages.
Yeah. So awesome. So take that hopefully, and I hope that resonates. Grandfather was just always there for you.
He was.
Like in a way that no other man has ever been. That's wild. I love it. So let's
I did
reset.
too. It was unexpected.
I love that. I love that. I love that. I love that. Okay. Who do I want to touch on? I just did a reading for these 2 amazing people in the middle before we came. So I'm wondering if there's anything else that they really need to hear. And then I talked to you guys earlier, but I keep tapping on you, Kim, and I'm trying to figure out how that connects. And I'm going to step right over. Hey, kiddo. Hi. So who is the 73-year-old lady that was in the wheelchair? Does that make sense to you? Gray hair. Whitish gray. Sweet as can be. Like when I think of the best grandmother energy ever, I'm not saying she's your grandmother, but like she was the grandmother to somebody. I don't think she was blood related to you in any way. Super sweet, like so much so that it makes your teeth hurt when you talk to her. Does that make sense? Wheelchair. And she wasn't in a wheelchair for long. I want to say like 4 months.
Yeah, I'm
Okay. And she favored her cane for a long time and used it way longer than she should have. They're showing me this really elaborate cane, like she liked it fancy. It wasn't just like a stick, it just had all sorts of like, I don't know. It's like had stickers or detailed artwork on it or something like that. But the bottom of it had 4 prongs for balance. Does that make any sense to you at all?
That's me in the future.
No. I really feel it.
around 73.
early 70s, late 60s maybe. If not, I could be going in the wrong direction. It could be older, like 78. If that doesn't make sense, I'm gonna let it go, because if it doesn't validate in some way, then I can't really carry it. That's okay. Don't worry about it then.
Try to reread it.
Don't make it. No. Never try to make the puzzle piece fit. You'll know right away. It's either yes, no, or maybe. And if it's not, just say so. There's no ego in this game, so I can be wrong. Okay. 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 You know I'm done a hit on you. I'm just trying to figure out who it is that's like knocking at the door right now, because your dad's mom's passed over. And what's the significance of 10? The number 10 with her? Is it an anniversary, death date?
My birthday's the 10th.
Oh, okay.
I was very close to her.
Okay. And we've never talked about her before.
No.
Because
No,
once
she's
again,
never
I've
come.
read Kim a
Yeah.
number of times. Actually, Kim was one of my very first readings ever. In summer of 21. She's showing me a Raggedy Ann doll. Does that make sense to you?
Yeah, she had some, yes.
Yeah. And you hated them.
I was scared of her.
Yeah, she used to torture you. She used to shake them at you.
You know, like, it's something to be afraid of, nothing to be afraid of.
And she'd
Yeah,
and
I
you'd
know.
like and run off. And at some point, she started to use it to like manipulate you, like
Yeah,
to get
really?
you to.
I don't remember that, but
And, you know,
yeah.
But I would be creeped out too if somebody was like shaking a Raggedy Ann doll at me, which I'm dating myself very much just to say Raggedy Ann doll. I don't even think kids under 30 even know what those are anymore.
No, they don't.
But I could have said unicorns on Wednesdays, so for that to totally, I've never said Raggedy Ann in a reading before, ever. So, and just the laughter, she just, like she knew it scared you, but she just got the biggest shit giggles out of it. And it's almost like it became this party trick, like when families are around and stuff, you're like, watch this, watch that, watch. And you're like, and you run off, kind of scared. I don't know the importance of that. Yeah, isn't that how family is though? It's always family, though.
She must have loved you the best.
Yeah, so that's fun. And then she's showing me long days out in the backyard in the gardens. So, and once again, I think much like the lady behind you with the grandfather, I think she's just touching on those really simple but memorable times where there was just an undeniable connection.
We did have her. I was the only one that believed that she'd wake up out of her coma.
Yeah.
And she did.
Yeah. But she didn't last long after that, did she?
She did, but it wasn't,
She wasn't all there.
she wasn't all there.
Yeah. I don't think she wanted to come back. Kind of scenario.
I think she did for me.
Yeah. Well, especially at that time, you were very much in a struggle.
Yeah.
You were in you perceived life in a really intense way at that point.
I was 14.
Yeah. And it was a pivotal point for you.
Yeah.
So so yeah, she just lots of love, lots of shaking that down. You're not scared of it anymore, but
No,
life's changed
no.
so much
I
since.
know. Definitely.
You are just leveled up. So it's interesting. That's all she's really showing me. I think it's more just to throw in a couple chunks of evidence and just reconnect with your heart, because you haven't thought about her.
I have not that long ago. I thought
Yeah.
about her. Yeah.
So,
How tight we were.
and she's bringing in your grandfather, her husband,
Yeah.
taller,
Yeah, I think he might have been.
Just a little bit.
Yeah, just a little bit. Yeah.
much quieter.
Yeah. Yeah.
She was really the leader of the group, and he just like let it be.
Yeah.
It was easier. Happy wife, happy life
Yes.
was very much his theory about that whole scenario.
Yeah.
But a bit demanding, she was for him
Yeah.
behind the scenes.
Oh, would never know.
but his concept of demanding and other people's might be different. He was just so basic. And I don't say that in an insulting way
No,
in any way.
he was.
He just super simple
Yeah, he was.
kind of thing.
Amongst us all.
What else, kids? I have all sorts of animals coming through for you.
Really?
Dogs. I just
Oh.
get lots and lots of dogs with you always.
Do you have a black one?
A dark brown is
Dark
the
brown.
significant.
Yours is dark brown.
Uh,
but no, I mean, I've had
You've had a lot of animals.
I've had a lot of animals
You're an
in my
animal
lifetime.
person through and through,
yeah,
for sure.
Yeah,
You get that from Graham, don't you? Was Graham a big animal person too?
yeah.
Yeah. It's funny, she's showing me like garden scenes again in the backyard, like birds would almost land on you guys and butterflies and stuff like that. Like very much Snow White scenes.
Yeah, in a way, yeah. There's
Kind
a
of thing.
little time outside. Yeah.
Yeah.
In the back.
What were you gonna say? You reached
I was going to say I figured out the lady.
Oh, go ahead. Well, I knew I wasn't wrong, so I was just
I'm pretty
waiting.
sure. Well, yeah, my mother-in-law.
Oh, okay.
She would be the only one.
Yeah. She felt so bad for you.
Why?
She saw things the way they really were, not the way that the two of you viewed it to everybody. So, a lot of sympathy in that energy for you when you thought you were sold on one thing and then you get the Wish version of it. Do you know the joke about like buying something from Amazon or buying something from Wish?
Yeah.
The Wish brand is usually a very bad version of whatever you were hoping to get. So, yeah. So that energy is, I think, where she feels really bad is because you were expecting something really amazing out of that relationship with your husband, and then it ended up definitely being the Wish version kind of scenario.
Absolutely. But she's still alive.
Oh, so what's the disconnect? Because usually if I get people in my head, like I said, that are still here,
You don't see her.
Well, I don't see her as much.
well, it's hard. It makes sense that you don't see her as much because it brings back a bunch of stuff you don't want to deal with anymore.
Right.
So you have more time on your hands. Maybe it's part of a healing process for you because you still haven't gotten to the center of your onion of healing. So maybe going and seeing her and spending a little bit of time with her may do that for you. Because for spirit to drop it into my head, there has to be a reason.
So you think my husband is dropping that in her head?
No, I think she's coming in. I think spirit's got her coming through to maybe get you moving in a healthier direction. Because we were talking for a couple minutes earlier and you were talking about how it's still a real struggle to put yourself first.
Yeah.
And I think this is part of that message. And I think some of it's maybe becoming more copacetic with your mother-in-law, understanding her perspective, and maybe her being able to express some of the sadness or shame she had in watching what was going on for you. So
Do you think she knew?
I think she saw more than she let on. In my personal belief structure, most women are way more aware than they lead on. So why would she not have? I mean, from what you were saying earlier, you were basically captive. If she hadn't seen that, then she had to have been completely blind. So maybe there's some healing to be done in that scenario for her to come through and not be passed over. For you. I'm not worried about healing for her. Whenever spirit brings it through, it's whoever I'm talking to. You know, like with Britt, it's for Britt. If she wants an opportunity to, connect with her grandfather and stuff, then she has that opportunity.
I mean, I do have a relationship with my mother-in-law. I always have since I was 18.
Okay.
Now I'm 60, so it's been a long time.
Yeah, it's been a long time.
It's very hard to talk to her because she's very negative, and every time I call her, even when I met my husband at 18, she's always wanted to die. She hates her life, she hates herself, she always wants to die. So for me to call her and I say, "Oh, how you doing?" She'll tell me. She says, "Oh, I'm waiting to die." Like, it's very hard and draining, and I know because her husband died, massive heart attack on the front lawn.
And left her abandoned.
At the age of 60.
Yeah.
And I was 46, and my husband died on the front lawn of a massive heart attack. So they both died outside on the lawn, same way.
Yeah.
And she doesn't want to
She
live.
took it one way and you took it, you both have similar cards to play and you chose different options, maybe that's the lesson, is sitting in her energy and going, yeah, I really don't want to be like this. And I've got to really start putting myself first.
But she never will.
She'll never know.
No.
Her lesson is already
Yeah, she just wants to,
penciled
she's just
in.
waiting.
She
She just tells me.
And what a waste of an experience. I mean, there's a lot of magic you can do in a life cycle, and just to sit there and wait on the front porch until your heart stops.
I told her stop waiting, maybe she'll go. I said, she says, I want to die. I said, you know what? God don't want you up there because you're moaning and groaning. You're wanting to die. I said, stop wanting to die. Make it nice and quiet. He doesn't want you up there.
Maybe she's your lesson.
You gotta be nice
she's
and
supposed to
he'll
be.
take you.
Maybe she's supposed to be teaching you something. So for her to pop into my head like this and not be passed over, then there's got to be some puzzle pieces that either you're not seeing or I'm not seeing that correlates. So yeah. So take it. I could be completely wrong, but I don't think I am.
Okay.
So yeah, that imposter syndrome's gone.
Now
Has anybody
my
caught on
husband
yet?
would come through that.
Took me 3 years,
Not
but
yet.
now it's gone.
Kind of
Kind of gentleman with the blue hat on, I keep wanting to talk about your mom, and I don't know why exactly, and I don't even know if she's passed over or not, but I keep getting this energy about simpler days of the past, and it's the weirdest thing. She's not a talker. She's not really giving me a lot of detail, so I've been hesitant to like reach out to you because she's not giving me enough shit to do anything with at the moment, but she keeps coming through and it's wild. She keeps knocking, like, so usually the energies are all in the room. She's showing me a closed door knocking on the front door. Like she wants to come in. And I don't know what that means. Does any of that make sense to you in any way?
Somewhat, yeah. She has passed over.
Okay. And it's like you won't let her in. But it's not like an aggressive let me in. It's almost like,
I think she lives in our house in an African violet plant.
oh, that's wild. I love that. But other than that belief structure, why is it you won't let her in? Like, for some reason, it feels very much like you won't be open. You're not open to seeing symbols, signs, and experiences from her. She's the politest lady. It's almost like somebody who's like a Mormon knocking at your door, like, I'd like to share Jesus Christ with you. But I'm not saying she's saying that, but it's just the most kindest, like, I got cookies, just let me in kind of scenario. It's wild. I don't know why I'm getting this kind of stuff. And it's super important to say that it's a dark red or a burgundy door. I don't know why. It's weird.
Mom loved red.
Oh, okay.
She loved to wear red.
Little door knocker, little gold door knocker, and she just keeps knocking, waiting for somebody to answer the door. I don't know what's going on. That's so funny.
She pops up now and then. I'm a avid golfer, as you might
Yeah.
see, and I walked the golf course. And a couple weeks ago, I was walking down a steep hill, and some African violets were growing there that I had never seen before. And I said, "Hey, Mom."
Yeah, that's awesome. But that's as open as you do. It's like you just open the door like a crack. You're like, who's there? And then you shut it. Like you're not. I don't know why, but you feel like you need to be like safeguarded to just really having a full connection with her still. So, and it's funny. Your dad. What's going on with your dad? Because your dad's like 5 steps behind her, and I don't know if he's passed over or not.
He is.
Either, but he's like she's here and he's like constantly walking in pace with her but always behind her, and I don't understand what the symbolism of that is. It feels like she went first and then he passed after her, but
No.
I don't understand it. It's like she's keeping him like 5 steps behind. I don't know if she was like a really witty woman who always had like she was always like in the game of life, she always had the next couple moves done and nobody else was really. She very much like the chess player. Like she knew the next 2 steps before anybody
She liked
else.
to play the game.
Yeah, and he was always clueless until he was informed of what he needed to do or where he needed to be. Really sweet energy though. The guy's really great. They're both great. But she is so serious. Like, hey, just open the door. I want to show you Tupperware or something. It's just the wildest thing where she just, I don't get it. I don't understand it. So, it's super sweet. And it's really this whole message of open up to me. I want to connect on a more solid level. So that's pretty much it. Well, everybody, it is, oddly enough, 12 o'clock. So we have done 45 minutes. It's been a true pleasure. I hope that I've given some of you at least a giggle or two, if not real message or connection. Hope to see you again.
Thank you so very much.
Thank you.